All right, so welcome back to another back half hustle to help you agents get into production quicker, help you with the challenges you're seeing in the market, and close some business towards the end of this year. So today, obviously, I have my co-host Terri Kelley, and today we have our special guest Rueben Hernandez Valdez out of San Antonio. Even though he's sporting a Dallas hat, we appreciate the support. But he's going to walk us down on how to kind of edit our videos, in a certain way that will attract, buyers' attention when you're sharing them to your social media platforms, stuff like that. And I'll kind of just share real quick because he taught me how to do this and I learned from him. So, for instance, as you see in my screen, this video that we just did, I just did this an hour ago. And it was fairly easy, and so he's going to help us break down this process. And just here in an hour, if we look at the sites and the data, I mean, it's already had 138 views. And the great thing is, 67% followers, 33% non-followers. These are the people who are watching it who aren't in your, network, in your social media all the time. And so that's going to help you grow your following and hopefully bring buyers to your listings that you have, which that's what I'm praying for. I got to get this listing sold. All right. So, this is quick and easy. If you have questions, put them in the chat so that way we can get to them. But Mr. Ruben from San Antonio, break
Good
it
old San
down.
Antonio.
Give us a quick intro about you and your team and take it away.
Yeah, so hi everyone. My name is Ruben. I actually have been with Real Broker actually since April, so very, very new to April. Sorry, to Real. And I do have a team of four agents. One just capped yesterday. Woo!
Nice.
But
Congrats.
yeah, so my degree is in PR and marketing. So outside of just video, that is kind of where my brain lies all the time. I wear that hat probably first and then real estate. That's what helps me kind of drive my business and be successful there. But as far as video is concerned, I started real estate in at the end of 2019. So shortly thereafter, the world shut down, right? So I kind of had to figure out how to stay on screen. So a lot of the things that I'm going to go over today, I don't claim to be an expert. However, just using the tools that we have at our disposal, it made me realize like, I mean, no offense to anyone that I still use a videographer for specific projects, but there's no reason we should be paying $250 to $300 for a video that you're waiting 24 hours to 48 hours to get when you can do it all. Honestly, you're going to see today, you can do it all, like Matt said, in like 10 minutes. Once you realize kind of what the tricks of the trade and all the shortcuts. So I'm excited to dive in. And Matt, if you're good, I can share my screen
Yeah,
and
go ahead. Take it away.
okay, cool. So a lot of people ask like, "Oh, what do you use to edit your videos?" I use CapCut, right? And a lot of people don't use CapCut. They use but I mean, there's so many different options at which you can use. The first step I always tell people to do, which is something that I think we work backwards usually in, I think that it's important to know what route you're going as far as the vibe of your video, and that always relies on the sound and the audio, right? And so majority of the time we're uploading these videos to Instagram Reels or TikTok, right? Right now, I'm going to focus on just the metaverse, right? So Instagram and Facebook, solely because audio on TikTok can get a little weird. But majority of the time, the songs that you choose, as long as you're choosing, I'd say mainstream songs, but songs that are on the radio that you can find on Apple, iTunes, Spotify, you're going to be able to find it on Instagram, right? I'm going to use an example today, just a random song that I had already downloaded for another video I had done. So forgive me, it's not going to be like the funnest song if you don't know it, but the idea is that you download that song. Now, there is what I'm going to show you guys is I'm not sure. Let me see. You guys are still seeing my CapCut screen, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So let me switch and show you guys. 1 second. All right. So what I always do is I go to, now you can see my full screen, correct?
Yeah.
All right. So what I do is I go to YouTube to MP3, right? So I use this YouTube to MP3 converter. Essentially, what this is going to do, you just copy and paste the YouTube video here in this link. You click convert, it'll convert it into an audio video, right? Like that's exactly how you're going to be able to download any song you want and not have to, figure out how to convert it, yada, 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 right? So that's for a whole nother video. It's super easy to do. You just drop the link right here in this portion here, click convert, and then download the MP3. And then from there, you're gonna import it into your project. So obviously clicking import here, finding the file on your computer, and then you'll have it there in your library. So that's always my first step. My first step is always, sorry. My first step is always to get that audio in my bank there so that I can start the project, right? So usually what I'll do is I'll start the project with immediately adding the song, right? And then from there, a cool tool that I use is if you can see my mouse, I'm hovering over this little icon here that says auto mark beats. And right now it's clicked as none. You can choose the first option or the second option. But essentially, let me zoom in a little bit. So essentially, whenever I start, I click on the song. So then it gives me this option here. Then I'll click beats. What it's doing is AI is finding every single beat in the song. And so that way it's looking intentional when you're uploading your video. So you see these little blue markers, that's every time the beat changes or a hit is hit on the song, right? If we're talking musicality. So that already is my marker for where I'm gonna cut and paste every single clip of the in this case home tour, right? So what I'll do is I'll just do this kind of on camera for you guys. I'll import all the video that I took on my camera. Forgive me, all my video on this camera, I film in RAW form, which can be for a whole nother Zoom call, but essentially I film it with no color, which is kind of like what all the videographers film as, so that you can add color later on. I use the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. That camera runs about 500 bucks, but it pays for itself in literally like 2 videos. So I'll show you kind of my process here, but essentially like I'll play the song and you can I don't know if you can hear my audio, but you can every time the beat switches, I basically just drag it in. I'll wait for it to load and then I'll play. So I'll let it hit for 2 beats there just because I want to showcase the front of the house. So I want it a little longer. I line it up, immediately go to the second clip, drop it in, stop it, block it. And then let's see, I'll just drop a bunch. And so essentially you can do this quick and just drop them all at the same time. And then you can just drag them to kind of where you want them to be, right? Now, a lot of people always ask me, well, what if the video is too short? Well, like if the video is too short, again, there's no rule book here, right? So let's say you accidentally filmed a clip and you got it maybe this long and it's not long enough. Honestly, I just drag another clip and then fulfill the beat halfway through. So it still looks intentional, right? So again, essentially every beat, it'll switch and it just makes the video look that much more polished, right?
Yeah.
Because it's in sync with the audio.
Hey,
Um,
real quick,
yeah.
can you go to your share settings
Mhm.
or your audio and put share volume when you hit share screen so we can
Oh
kind of
yeah, let me see.
see if that helps.
There we go. Okay, so tell me if you guys can hear this. Was that good?
Yeah.
All right, so that's kind of my approach to it. Now, the one thing that I want to point out though, for instance, and this doesn't have to do with editing, it's more obviously while you're filming, right? But a lot of people, let me show you a clip. So, or for instance, actually, let's take a look at this clip that I took of the front. So you can see all I'm doing is slowly walking forward, right? I think a lot of times people film their videos and they want to pan from left to right super fast. If you go super fast and you don't have your settings set up correctly, when you try to slow it down, it's gonna look very grainy, right? It's gonna look like it's staggering a bit. So I always walk slow because if I speed it up, it's not gonna mess up the quality, right? And that always gives more like a luxury look, right? Now, some people ask me, and I'll use this clip as an example. Let's say I have this really long clip here that I put in, right? And I'm like, well, I really want it to look like the videographers make it look, right? I want to make it look like, I sped up really quick and then I slow down. It's so simple. You just click right up here in the right-hand corner. I just click on speed. You see this little option called curve. This is the like you have to have the pro version of CapCut, but once you click on curve, I use montage a lot. So once I click it, it immediately does the speed for you. So now the clip will look something like this. So it sped it up and then slowed it down, right? A better idea of it would be if I added it to the very first clip. It kind of zoomed in a little bit faster. So you can kind of play with it. And let's say I'm like, no, I want it to zoom in all the way to this portion of the video. And as you can see, I'm playing with these little markers here, but now the video looks like speeds up a little bit more and then slows down, right? So the effect that I'm pretty sure a lot of people see on videos, it's exactly that. That's what the videographers are using, whether you're using CapCut or Adobe Cut, or Pro Cut. So those are the little tricks of the trade when you're trying to make your video look quote unquote professional. I stay away from transitions. It's just not my thing. It to me, it absolutely, makes it feel like we're back in like 2005 or we're editing a video for like a school project. The no transitions are a little bit better. And then the only other thing I will say when it comes to editing a video with audio is I kind of just for the for this Zoom call, I kind of just went with the beginning of the song. But sometimes I'll scroll through the song and I'll think like, okay, let's listen to this. I know because I've heard this song before. Right about here is when I saw you. It starts, right? Like it actually picks up. So sometimes I won't even start the video right at the beginning. I'll just split it right there, delete it, and now you'll see, depending on the song you're using, if you're intentional with it, now the video is going to look a little different. I saw you there looking so good tonight. Now and because I changed it or I moved the audio, you have to be careful because now these little markers, these beats are in different spots, right? So it's just important that you keep an eye on that because it's the same song. It usually lines up, but if the song changes in tempo or whatever the case, you might have to go in and edit a little bit, but it looks like they're all pretty much lined up. So now you can see that choosing the right part of the song could change the video. The beginning was just very instrumental, and now so that's only half of a video, and I've only been talking for maybe 5, 10 minutes. And again, I just drop them in. I know it sounds like, well, like Ruben, that's you're not really teaching me anything. It's you're just dragging you're just dragging files and cutting. This is the best time efficient way that you can time block and still get quality content. A majority of my videos on social media are edited by myself, just because for what, right? Like I rather spend my money on other types of marketing rather than spending it to produce my marketing. Um, Something to also keep in mind is for me, I absolutely not, never actually forget to include my logo at the beginning of the video and at the end of the video. And for me, that's just for brand recognition, which again, it could be a whole nother conversation. And sometimes, I think a lot of us get super busy and we forget that even when we are out doing our day-to-day jobs, whether it be showing a house or not, we should always make time, or at least I tell my team this, you should always make time when you're out in the field to schedule at least one showing as an agent preview to get footage of at least one other property of the ones that you have shown, right? Because when you're showing properties to clients, if you know you're a showing agent or you're a buyer's agent and you focus on that part of the market, you can get tied up, right? Like you're well, at least for me, I don't film videos while my client is with me. I'm focused on my client, right? So you'll lose out on the homes that you tour, and adding that to your plate just kind of stresses people out. So I always tell my clients, if you're out in the field, it's so important that you at least take the time to just at least book one showing. It takes maybe 10 minutes to film the video, and you're good to go from there. So this is just a quick I just let me snip this real quick and you can kind of see what the final product would essentially look like. Um, what I do just to make this look pretty, since I use the DJI, which again, we can set up if anyone has questions, you can contact me. But like I said, I film in D-Log, which means there's no color. So I'm adding this color. So now everything looks super vibrant and all the colors stay true. And you're not seeing, some darker than others. So now So there's that, and then I know you guys noticed that as the clips were playing, some things can be shaky, right? Like I believe in this one, let me mute it so we're not listening to this song over and over. But on this clip right here, I'm kind of walking and it's a little bit shaky, and I think in this one as well. And it's as simple as clicking on the clip. So once you click on the clip, you'll see right here, just says stabilize. Now, I use the stabilize button a lot, even though my DJI has a gimbal in it. I don't use the recommended. I use a minimum cut because sometimes recommended will crop your video enough so it doesn't look like it's shaking. But minimum cut, well, you'll probably still see some movement in the clip. But if you use minimum cut, it won't cut a lot around the video and it'll stay true to the frame that you chose. And you won't see any type of blurriness because that recommended cut is going to use AI to kind of to focus in and not make it look like it's moving as much. So now it still probably moves a little bit, but it's much smoother. So I utilize that stabilize button quite often. But as far as the main ones that I use, it's just like I said, stabilize or the speed. Obviously, you can use standard and just kind of slow down the video if you wanted to, but that curve really gives you that effect that most of these videographers are using. But yeah, I mean that's as easy as it sounds super simple, and I promise it is. It's more important. I think the harder part of this entire process is understanding the different shots that you need to get, right? And for that, I honestly just say, look, go watch the videos you like and replicate it. A lot of us use CapCut on our phones. I'm not sure if you guys, use it on y'all's phone. Everything that I just did on my desktop is available on the phone. However, it's important to understand that on the phone, it's just not as user friendly, right? There's the things are a little bit more hidden on the phone. But I will say on the phone, they do have templates. And on the phone, there is a template button that you can follow along. So if you choose a template and you don't have any video pre-recorded, you can record using the template and the template will guide you, right? So if you like template ABC and that template is showing the front of the house and you're zooming out and walking backwards, when it's time for you to film that shot, it'll show you a little sample of it in the top right corner of your phone, showing you, okay, in 3, 2, 1, and you will follow along with that shot, if that makes sense. Um, but yeah, I mean, I hope that that helps a little bit. I mean, I know it was very quick, but that's just kind of goes to show you how quick you can do these videos, and you don't really need a lot of tools to help you do it.
No, this was great. I mean, I learned a lot just in that little bit, right? This whole time, I thought you used templates all the time, and I'm like,
Oh,
no, I mean, this makes sense where the beats right there, that helps tremendously, right?
it does the job for you
Yeah,
essentially.
it does. So using that, just that little part of the AI. So have you ever found it where because you're converting music to the MP3, that Meta, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, wherever you're posting it, shut it down for copyright issues?
Yeah, so that's why thank you for bringing that up. So that's why I brought up using Instagram and Facebook initially, because Instagram and Facebook, once you know what part of song you're using, well, then when you click the song, you add it and then you slide right on Instagram and Facebook, and you can just mute your audio and then use the Instagram audio, and then you're clean and you're good. And then they're not going to come after you. On TikTok, it's a little different because on TikTok, you only get a minute of that song that the artist uploads or the label uploads. And so if you are going to do it on TikTok, you're going to have to do a little bit more extra research to go find the song on TikTok, figure out what's 1 minute sample they allow, and then use that sample, and then you're good to go. But I used to run into that, but not anymore, right? Because now we just kind of work around is just muting your audio and use the audio from Instagram or Facebook.
Wow, good.
I got a ton of questions for you, Ruben. Thank
Go
you.
for it.
This is really great. So my first question is obviously was if I'm recording it on my phone, it's hard to pull it up in the phone, right? It's better to edit on
Yeah.
CapCut Pro. But here's the question that I know a lot of people on our thing is going to ask. But they just sent out this update. We shouldn't be using CapCut because everybody's stealing our information, and CapCut is now bad. I think it's bogus. But what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that I think it's kind of it's calling the kettle black, I feel like, right? Because I'm also a millennial. I'll call it. I'm 35 years old. This is just what my world has always been, so it's the only thing I know. But my rebuttal to that would be absolutely, if that could be true, it could not be true, right? I'm more of a see it to believe it, hard facts kind of guy. But I kind of the same could be said about anything, right? Like your phone provider. I mean, Apple, you have to check a little box that consents, right? Like so yes, are they wrong? No. But I mean, we're using Zoom and we consented there. Like there's so many things where you know your information is being taken, whether you like it or not. Even when I mean, you're driving on the highway, there are cameras, right? So yes,
Yep.
I understand I mean, I don't want to say understand. I hear it, right? But at the end of the day, you have to you have to measure, right? What's worth it? And my line that my team hates to hear coming is, how bad do you want it? And in this
Right.
industry, with how fast it's moving, you either use the tools or you go broke, because it's to the point now. I mean, time is money, and these videographers for this specific example are, I hate to say it, but they're out of control, but not in a mean way, right? Like they got to pay bills and they got to do what they got to do. And some people just don't have the tools or the understanding to be able to do it, or the patience, right? So yeah, that's what I say to that. It's like, really, how bad do you want it?
Yeah.
Okay. Couple other things. Matt and I both use the Pocket 3. We've
Okay.
had it for a little bit of time. I don't know how well he's using his, but I switch around. Like I'll either use my camera, I'll use the Pocket. I have a ZV-1 that sometimes I'll throw in there, a Sony camera. The easiest tool you're finding though is going to be your Osmo. So on that, you mentioned raw form, no color.
Mhm.
But I saw when you were editing, you had color. Does CapCut Auto put that color in there?
So
And
no,
then what
so
is your setting for the no color? Because I don't
yeah.
have that.
So I'll start with the settings. So when you go into your settings on your video, you'll when you there's only like two options, I believe. And it's the D-log setting. So you want to film everything in D-log. And essentially, let me share my screen while I show you this. Essentially, what it is going to show you is, okay, so this is the color I added, this little adjustment here. So if I delete that, you'll see that it kind of it gets really bland, right? And it's very washed. So this is how everything I film gets uploaded. Now, it's funny because some videographers, their style is this, right? Like they put like a filter over it and this is what they want. But this is not true to color, right? And so what happens is DJI, if you go onto their website, I can send you guys the link after this, but you go to their website, they actually offer a free LUT, which I think that's what it's called, a LUT. And that is the color, right? That's adding the color and allowing you to adjust it. I kind of am, I'm gonna be vague on this only because I haven't d dove in enough to really truly understand it. However, what I love about it is once you import it into CapCut, you'll download it from the DJI website, and you'll import it in adjustments. So you'll click on adjustments right up here as if you're gonna like, adjust lighting and things like that. And you'll click a LUT. It will be empty. There will be nothing here. You'll click import and go find the file that you downloaded from DJI, and then it stays here and it's specific to DJI. Now, once I drag it over this one clip, you'll see it immediately changes it. And what I'll do is I'll put it half and half, right? So you can see that difference, right? Now, what's important to understand is that as soon as you upload the LUT onto whatever clips you're using, you will see on this right-hand corner that now LUT is checked, right? Because I'm clicked on the LUT. I'm clicked on the adjustment, that yellow part there. So I'm adjusting how intense I want it. If I drag, maybe it's too bright, maybe that's too intense, right? Some people don't like that style. Well, then of course you can pull it down so it's not, right? You can go back to fading it, or you can bring it a little bit more to life, right? Just depending on your style. The other thing I want to point out is that let's say I keep it at 100 and let me drag it just for this clip. When I click on the clip now and I go to adjust the clip, now you'll see here there's a LUT, right? And if I drop down and click DJI, it kind of distorts it a lot. But if I bring it down, right, it's doing the same exact thing that we just did. This is where I'm talking about. I haven't dove exactly in on what the difference is. So if I keep the intensity low here and come to bring the intensity down here, now we're back to basics again, right? So I found that essentially whether you put the LUT in or not, you definitely don't want to choose this option because you're double dipping, right? I like this option, right? Dragging it here because I can easily just apply it to the entire video. You know what I mean? And then now each clip, let's say I'm like, oh, well, when I go inside the house, the lighting's a little bit different. Maybe it's super dark in this clip. Well, then at that point, I'll go to this clip, I'll go to adjust, and I'll come down here and just fix the exposure, fix the contrast. Maybe I want it to be a little bit more contrasty, or of course the exposure, right? Maybe I want it to be a little bit lighter, right? So that's how I use the DJI addition. Now, it is important to understand that on your DJI, again, I just learned this, but on the app for the camera, I don't know how you guys use it, but if you just open your app and you have your camera turned on, it's immediately gonna sync, right? Like it's gonna log in and it's gonna make sure that you can either, film from your phone, use it as a viewfinder, or download the footage. I just started using the editor on that app. And what is amazing is that on that app, let's say you go to edit and you upload all the files from your camera and you go to filters, immediately there's a one click of a button that says color restoration. You click on it and it tells you what camera do you have? Do you have the DJI Osmo Pocket? Do you have this camera? Do you have this camera? You click which camera you have and you click D-Log and it immediately adds the color to your footage. So I actually do edit on that app when I'm out in the field, if you will, or if I don't feel like opening my laptop, I know at least the DJI app will give me that color, and then I just add the color immediately to all the clips, or I'll go edit the video in CapCut in completion with audio and everything with no color, save it, and then put it into the DJI and just add the color and upload it to Instagram.
Oh, sounds good. All right. So my last question, and then
I'm
sorry, Matt,
loving
I'm
all the
trying to go
questions,
back
Terri.
in.
I got questions
So
too.
listen. So, what is your handle on Instagram, Facebook, etc.?
But
Because I
yeah,
don't
yeah,
have you added
yeah, it's just I'll put it in the chat. It's just at
I put it in the chat already
oh,
for you
okay, cool.
on
It's
the
just at
Instagram.
on. Oh, you
Ruben
did?
underscore realtor. And my
Okay,
name's
cool. Thank
spelled
you.
a little different.
You have the E
I have the E,
before
yeah.
the B because when I was
Uh-huh.
searching the first time, I was like, whoa, hold on. I was like, oh no, I'm missing the E. Awesome.
All
So,
right. Go
real
ahead,
quick.
Matt. I know you got 100 of them.
Yeah. So, from a agent perspective, right? This is great because a lot of agents' mindsets, they like, I need to go hire a videographer. I need to go spend thousands and thousands of dollars doing these videos. And you just broke it down in 20 minutes how you don't need that starting off, right? Maybe when you grow down the road and you need to leverage yourself out, yes, you can. But starting off, this was so simple. So thanks for sharing. I see a lot of your views on like Instagram. We're looking at like 15,000, 38,000, 2,000, 3,000, 5, 10. I mean, they're not one or 200, right? So what has helped you increase your view count on Instagram or Meta or TikTok, to get more eyes to it? And then part two of that is what kind of leads are you generating from it, right? Agents want
Yeah.
to know, is this helping you generate leads in business?
Yeah, so majority of my, I mean, I don't buy leads, so all my business comes from socials or my sphere. But to start the question or the answer of how have I increased views, I think it's very niche to each individual. I think right now, and I'll just speak as blatantly and as direct as I can. I just feel like right now we're seeing that surge of like everyone's trying to find their thing, right? And I understand that, but I think if you're trying to find your thing, you're behind the curve because that was 2019, 2020. That is what people did because of the pandemic, because of COVID. Everyone had this idea of like, okay, well, how do I stand out, right? And I felt, I fell subject to that, right? If you follow me on TikTok, you'll see I coined myself as the dancing realtor at one point. I still do fun things like that every now and then, but it's
Like
just
a
it
video where
wasn't
you're like
realistic.
this and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. It wasn't realistic, right? Like I didn't have time to be learning these damn dances, you know? But all that to say is that it's important that I think everyone realizes that, you know, on Instagram and on socials, it's about your brand. And I teach a class called Building Your Brand, and I'm actually in the middle of redoing that because I think it should be more of instead of building, you should be looking at how to cultivate it, right? And how to intentionally kind of build, or I guess you could say, yeah, build the steps to your overall brand, right? And I think that for me on socials, I had to find my superpower. And I think that a lot of real estate agents are like, oh, I don't want to be on camera. And I respectfully say that you're in the wrong industry because, McDonald's can't do business without the three arches, and Nike can't do business without their Nike check. We can't do business without our faces and our personalities. And I think that's the first thing to understand is that you can start behind the camera and use your voice and your creativity when you're filming maybe at home tour, but you got to think outside the box. Like leveraging your relationships. A lot of the views and the leads that have come from socials for me are saying, hey, I just started I partnered with this couple of younger people than younger than me, and doing these content creation events, right? So essentially it's me and two of these women, and it's like, hey, for let's say all the DFW content creators that are, in the 30, 40, 50, 100,000 followers, we are going to partner with this new business that is not open, and we're going to invite all of you to come and get all your content. But guess what? They're all tagging me, right? Whether I'm collaborating with them or just getting tagged, it's that brand awareness that we should be working on. I don't think we should be working on or focusing on getting the views. It should be the trust and that brand awareness. And like I kind of mentioned earlier, is putting that logo right at the beginning and putting it at the end because it takes time, but the more people see it now, I mean, I was at an event last night and people were like, Rueben Realtor. And I'm like, well, yes, Ruben is my name. And so now, I mean, I've been in the business now almost 6 years already. It's like finally my entire city as a whole are recognizing me as opposed to just I don't know what the 4,000 people that follow me. You know what I mean? So it's kind of I didn't really answer your question outside of just the fact that it should more so be authentic to what you're doing without finding a thing and just being consistent. And I hate to sound like a broken record, but consistency is just really what's going to sell. And again, if you don't want to be on camera or you don't like the way you sound or you don't like the way you look, then maybe this isn't for you. Maybe you should be maybe a loan officer or underwriter or a processor. You know what I mean? Like it sounds
Yeah.
silly, but that's
Or they
just
could
what it
be
is.
an administrative assistant, right? You're behind
Correct.
the scenes, right?
Correct.
And stuff. But it's true because a lot of coaches out there, right? A lot of people who are in the industry, they tell us like even outside of the industry, these big influence, Hormozy, Gary Vee, right? They're like, when you're in real estate, you have to be a marketing company. You have to be marketing mindset where, you can learn the negotiations of a contract and stuff, but if you're not visible, if you're not out there putting yourself out there, you're not going to get any business.
Yep.
So
On that
that
note,
is true.
on that note, I wanted to just say too, I think that it's important for whoever watches this to realize there is a fine line though. I think the fine line is, and I talk about it all the time actually, and my team is tired of hearing it, but you don't have to run through a house or dress up like you're robbing the house or have this outlandish skit to make a video. I think that you can start off on camera with a mic saying, my opening line for every video is, "What's up, you guys? It's Ruben. I'm here at it." Like there is a way to do it that still is inviting without having to be a gimmick. And I think I don't know if the DFW area is experiencing this, but I feel like I am experiencing in my market of like, okay, if I see one more person disappear from the front of the house and then reappear into the living room, I'm gonna lose my shit. Excuse my language. But like we gotta start going back to basics and really selling ourselves
Yeah. Oh, you froze. Yep, froze up.
commercial.
You froze up there, buddy. But I get what you're saying, right? I
Yeah,
get the whole gimmicks because I'm tired of that shit too. I see it all the time, and really, I get these agents or these people doing these gimmicks on these videos, but in my eyes, they're kind of demoralizing our industry, right? Because it's not what it's about. Yes, it gets people's attention, and to me, that's what these people are doing. These agents are doing. It's like, hey, look at me, versus it's like our focus needs to be to the buyers and the sellers. That's who our clients are, right? That's who we're trying to attract. It's about them. It's about being human with them, not a gimmick or how can I get more views and just be
yeah,
popular. Because
yeah,
to be honest, there's a tons and tons of agents out there with tons of followers and tons of views that sell 2 homes a year.
right.
Let's just be honest, right?
Hmm.
And that's what you said is so true. It's like you don't have to do what's trending in our industry because that's not you. You're not being
Yeah,
authentic. People can see the bullshit when it is, when you're your true self on video. And
yeah,
you can be somebody so shy and hey guys, this is Matt. That's you. That's
yep,
what people are going to relate to. There's nothing wrong with that. And that's why people don't need to be scared of just getting on video. Just be you. You don't have to follow what everybody's doing. You can grab their framework, like what we just did from you, grab your framework of how you're doing your videos, but it's going to be me on the video?
yep,
And
yeah.
yeah,
One thing I tell people is, or I'll kind of like, because I could go on and on about this. One thing I tell people is this, is whenever I teach my branding class, one of the things that this is like one of my favorite nuggets that I want everyone that's watching this, whether it be now or in the future, to hold on to is when we're growing up, right? If you ask a little kid, you know, like who's your favorite, they have like a favorite wrestler or a favorite singer or a favorite football player, or, anybody, right? You ask women right now and it's like they'll choose like, the most gorgeous, there's Beyonce and Taylor Swift and the Kardashians and all the things, right? And then you ask men and they're like, oh yeah, everyone has that idea of perfection or what they want to be. And so I ask people in my class, I'll ask, do you have a favorite singer? And like, some people are like, oh, Celine Dion. And I'm like, okay, cool. Why do you like Celine Dion? And they're like, oh my God, well, she sings amazing and she's this and she's that. And I'm like, okay, well, are you a singer? 99% of the time they're like, no. I'm like, okay. Would you see yourself ever becoming a singer? And they're like, no. So then why would you say that you like Celine Dion so much? Like what is it? They're like, oh, I just want to be like her. And I was like, okay, so when you think of singers, who do you think of? And she's like, Celine Dion. So my point there is that like you should be doing everything in your power, because when people tell me, man, Ruben, you make me want to be a real estate agent, I'm like, bingo. Because that means every time they think of a real estate agent, they're thinking of me. So it doesn't have to be gimmicky. You just need to make it look enjoyable and make it look like this is something that they could do. We're not saying that we want to attract them to be an agent. And if they end up doing that, even better, right? Sign up under me. I can be a part of your upline and all the things. But majority of the time, it's going to attract them to be your client because you are the top of mind when, like, for instance, when you think of fast food, right? What's the number one fast food you think of? If you're in Texas, it's like Whataburger or McDonald's or, and so that's one of the things. If you can make them want to be you, you win.
cool. Awesome. Well, man, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come and give back to agents who are going to rewatch this recording and stuff. I know I appreciate it. I know Terry did. I know everybody on this call learned something from you. So we appreciate, giving back to us and learning. Obviously you're in San Antonio. So if anybody's watching this, moving to San Antonio, how can they get a hold of you? Where do they follow you at for all real estate things?
Yeah, so I'm on Facebook, all the same handles everywhere, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I'll drop my email address in this chat just so you guys have it. But I'm always available to help with no one should be scared to send me a DM. I just had an agent from Wisconsin actually send me a message and she wants me to help her edit videos. I'm always a helping hand. I time block very structurally, so I always have time to help. So if there's any questions, I'm always here.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thank y'all so much for jumping on another episode of Back Half Hustle. Follow us for more, and we'll see y'all next Tuesday. We appreciate it.
Bye. Thanks for coming.